Shoot 'em up, shoot 'em up. Yo, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I am really excited to talk about this manga that I just witnessed. I'm fucked for words right now. Jagaaaaaan. Look it up. I'll have it in the description so you can know how to spell it. This shit right now, I'm not gonna lie. First chapter, I believe it's a horror series. Oh my gosh. Yes, it has those edgy elements, but it was so much more than that, especially leading up until the end. And we'll talk about the difference between majority of the chapter and then I want to say the last portion of the chapter, because it felt like, honestly, if you're of the age of, I want to say 18 to 20, hell, if you're even 16 and you hold down a job and you got responsibilities, then I feel that to a certain degree you can relate to this series, because I felt as though I read a lot of shonen stuff and I love my shonen shit, don't get me wrong. I love my Naruto's, my One Pieces, Bleach, Magi, Dragon Ball. I love all that good shit, but from time to time I like to go to manga that is gonna appeal to something, or you know, kind of I can resonate with it for something that's going on in my life or how my life is, or you know, just in general something a little bit more mature. Jagaaaaaan. I gotta keep saying it. I love it that there's like 6 A's. It's like Jagaaaaaan. Fucking insane. So give you a brief synopsis. Main character, I believe his name is Jagaaaaaan. I know, crazy name, right? Jagaaaaaan though. Dude lives a life of mediocrity. He's a cop. He's, you know, especially in Japan, you're not allowed to just, you know, of course in the United States and other places too, you're not allowed to bust your guns at any given point, but in Japan, they're a lot more stricter, so you're not really allowed to just pull out your gun and just start popping motherfuckers. So manga starts off, dude is like looking at a bunch of ghetto-ass motherfuckers. One of the characters kind of looks like Chitoge if she picked up some drugs and, you know, kind of went a little bit of a stray after the end of Nisekoi, but nevertheless, he's being heckled by them, and he's imagining, or you think at the very least when you first see it, he's shooting the fuck out of them. But he just imagines it. So if I was to, the best way to compare this to something that some people might get, if you've seen the movie American Psycho with Christian Bale, it's very similar to that. At the very least for the beginning of the series. The very first, second, third portions, I want to say, because again, I'd say the fourth portion is a little bit different from what everything prior to that part was. But nevertheless, it's similar to that. The guy's sick of his life. He, you know, lives every day, works as a cop. He got to put up with people's bullshit. He can't just pull out his gun and just start popping motherfuckers like he wants to. You know, in society, and this is why we have people on the internet that just talk massive amounts of shit and, you know, say whatever the fuck they want because they have no filters. In society, you need to have filters. You can't just go up to a motherfucker, or if a motherfucker bumps you in the shoulder, you can't just say, you fucking little bitch. I mean, you can, but things will escalate from there. But you know, in reality, ultimately, majority of the time, if, you know, there's an accident or somebody's heckling you and shit like that, if you're the type of person that's more passive, you're just gonna say, whatever, fuck you, or joke around, whatever the case may be. If you're one of those people that like to avoid drama, if you don't want drama and you just are a normal person in society, chances are you ain't gonna just be popping off left and right, or you'll probably be sitting your ass in jail. You see what I'm saying there? And this guy, he's sick of it. It's like, his life is mediocrity. I think it went a little bit darker than I thought it was when he was imagining just like killing those thugs, killing his coworkers, even fucking killing his girlfriend, wife-to-be, supposedly. He like was imagining killing the bitch as they're fucking, because you see a certain portion where, again, it gets graphic. So if you're under the age of 18, you probably shouldn't be reading this. I'm not your parents. Do whatever the fuck you want, because you're gonna do it anyway. But yeah, there's a little bit of pornographic scenes in there, dude sucking some tits and all that shit. So again, maybe that's why I was just like, yo, a guy that is sick of a life of mediocrity, he want to bust his guns, he's tired of having to have filters in society, and he's just sick of people in general. I like this dude. I fucked with this dude. He's the representation of all those depressing, ironically dark memes that we see on the internet. He was the embodiment of that, and I loved it. Honestly, I would say the first 30 to 40 pages, because it's a 60-page first chapter. There's only one chapter as of the recording of this video. Obviously, it'll continue, but the first 30, 40, even maybe 50 pages up until the end, I was like, this is it. I love this series. It's not a big battle action or whatever, but I love it because it was getting into the mind of this guy that he's tired of mediocrity. He was imagining his future and seeing it play out. You know, you go from school to work, go to work, eventually you're gonna be in this casket. You know, he was just imagining. He's like, yo, I just want to shoot him up one time. I love that phrase in there, by the way. Shoot him up, shoot him up. Then the end of the series, which is still awesome, but it felt like it took a Parasite-esque turn. If you've seen the series Parasite or read the manga Parasite, then you know what I'm talking about. It started going supernatural, but I have a little theory to go with that, but let's talk more about what actually happened. Pretty much, they're on a train, motherfucker starts going crazy in there, and he's like, hey, you know, he's immediately thinking, man, I would love to just shoot this son of a bitch or whatever, but, you know, he's like, hey, what seems to be the problem? And the guy keeps on getting rude and nasty and flapping his fucking gums, and then out of nowhere, he kind of turns into, like, what seemingly is a parasite. He just starts killing people left and right, slicing their faces up, and he even cuts off the main character's trigger fingers, which is like, yo, that's this guy wanted to shoot his gun at least once so he could feel, you know, getting the release, the rush of just the tiredness of mediocrity to extend to something else. He got his fingers cut the fuck off, and he was like, it was a life, right? I lived my life, whatever, fuck it. And then all of a sudden it turns into like some Dead Man Wonderland meets Parasite shit where his fingers start oozing out. I don't even know what the fuck that was. And he blasts the shit out of the monster. And I was like, this is insane. Which, by the way, I know I'm going into spoiler territory, but I still recommend you reading it anyway. I recommend you probably just jump straight into it right after this video because it's fucking insane. But the ending of this chapter, when it went into that direction, I was like, I slightly liked it a tad wee bit less just because I was hoping for it to be more in a realistic fashion, and that's just my own personal preference. Is like when something seems grounded towards reality and it's like, you know, straight up like, okay, this is how it is, the premise and whatnot, then it goes into just this fantasy realm. I kind of get a little bit like thrown off. I'm like, oh, I was really enjoying the way this was set up. So that was my only gripe with it. But I mean, it still went into like a really dark direction, and then you got a fucking owl there talking to him, Jagaaaaaan. I was like, what the fuck is that about? Honestly, this first chapter, I can't praise it enough, though. I can't praise this enough. Like, I praised, you know, different series, and this might be the who the fuck knows? This probably won't be big at all or anything like that. It's too dark, too graphic. There's pornographic scenes in the first chapter. It probably won't be popular, successful-wise, sales or whatever. But as far as quality, this shit grabbed my interest. It had a little bit of an edgy tone, but it also had an appeal that is not that often found. It's not a common appeal that I see every day in manga, where a motherfucker is just like, oh, you know, I'm tired of this mediocre life that I'm living. I want to do something else, which I guess you technically get that, but to a more darker degree, where the main character is just like, I would love to just kill this motherfucker. I would love to. I guess, you know what? If I was to compare him slightly to another character, he has some traits of Light from Death Note, where, like, you know, Light was like, you know, regular life or whatever. The moment he had this opportunity, he went crazy, but it kind of reminds me in a way of that. But again, American Psycho is the best way to put it. And my little theory about the ending of chapter 1 of Jagaaaaaan is, hopefully, I'm hoping this, it could be, you know, that it's just gonna go straight up into sci-fi horror shit, which I don't know the exact brand of this. I do know it's horror, but I'm not sure if it's sci-fi as well. I'm hoping that that's all a delusion. I'm hoping that that was him wanting so badly to pop shit. Maybe he did shoot somebody or something like that, but it didn't go down with monsters and his fingers getting cut off and shit like that. I'm hoping that that's the case. I could be totally wrong, and yeah, you know, it's going in a sci-fi direction, but I'm hoping that it's just like him visualizing this shit because it's what he wants so bad, just something different, a break away from the norm, not leading what he feels is going to be his life regardless. It's like, hopefully it goes in that direction. But honestly, Jagaaaaaan, shoot him up. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. If you're over the age of 18, or, you know, in general, if your parents don't give a fuck, I can't stop you, go check out Jagaaaaaan. It's fucking awesome. It's something very different than what you're used to reading. It's not that shonen stuff. It's not like, it really goes in a nice dark direction that I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't think I was gonna check it out. I was like, Jagaaaaaan, what the fuck? You think, what do I look like reading something that I can't even fucking pronounce right now? What are you doing? But I promise you, Jagaaaaaan, it's one hell of an experience. At the very least, check out chapter 1. You don't like it, fuck it. You love it, hey, I did something great for you today. But if you read Jagaaaaaan, let me know what you guys think. Do you think my theory has any sort of validity to it? Maybe that was all an illusion, him just wanting so desperately for some crazy shit to happen that it wasn't like that. It was just a normal robbery or some shit and he popped his gun. Also, what do you think about Jagaaaaaan chapter 1? Did you like where it was going, the setup and everything? I felt it had that edgy tone that could actually get some appeal from a mainstream audience, similar to like what Tokyo Ghoul did when it first came out and blew up and everybody was loving it. It has that appeal to it. But do you like the main character Jagaaaaaan, and do you like the direction it seemingly was going towards the end, with him having these powers and his fingers and all that crazy shit that went down at the end of chapter 1? And if you haven't read Jagaaaaaan yet, did I sell you on it? Did I sell you to go, yo, read that chapter 1, or you skeptical, or it's just not your type of thing? You like more of the, you know, typical shonen? And if you do, there's nothing wrong with that. I repeat, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, though, if you want something, a bit of a break from the norm, Jog on, people. Jog on! But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, hit 'em up!